this arena really does rock, and particularly under the floodlights. And we've got the pyrotechnics there, the black boxes with the flames shooting out, the Copperway to our right hand side. We've got flag bearers with bright orange trousers on, waving their red and white flags around the centre circle, and the teams are coming out now, lining up next to the No Room for Racism banner. The referees and the assistants are in between that. Sheffield United, red and white striped shirts, black shorts, red socks, of course. A change strip for Arsenal, yellow shirts, dark shorts, yellow socks. And we are just moments away from kick-off here, so a reminder of the starting 11s before we get underway. A win, of course, would lift Sheffield United into the top half of the table, as Steve Crossman mentioned. They are currently 1 point above the bottom three after a solid start, but they've lost 3 straight here at home. So in goal, Dean Henderson, largely remembered by the wider public, I suppose, for the howler against Liverpool here, and Georginio Wijnaldum, but he's had an excellent season aside from that. The back three, from right to left, Chris Basham, John Egan, Jack O'Connell, all three have played every minute in the Premier League so far. The wing-backs, George Baldock and Enda Stevens, formerly of Aston Villa. A midfield three in the centre of Oliver Norwood, the Northern Ireland international, John Ludstrom on the right-hand side, John Fleck, the Scot, on the left. And up top, the only 2 changes, David McGoldrick, the Irishman, and Lys Mousset, the Frenchman. They start up top together for the first time. Now, what about Arsenal, who can go into third with a win, unbeaten in 5 since losing at Liverpool, but away from the Emirates, as Chris Sutton was mentioning before, they have suffered of late, winning just 4 of their last 17 in the Premier League on the road. They've lost 8 of the last 16, and Bramall Lane, a tough place to come. In goal, Bernd Leno. Right to left in defence, Callum Chambers, Socrates and David Luiz are the centre-backs. Sead Kolasinac keeps Kieran Tierney on the bench. The one change, Dani Ceballos makes way for Joe Willock in the centre of the park alongside Granit Xhaka and Matteo Guendouzi, whose reputation appears to grow by the week. And up front, Nicola Pepe on the right-hand side, only 1 goal so far, and that was from the penalty spot for Arsenal in the victory over Aston Villa, a club record signing. Bukayo Saka on the left-hand side, a 4th consecutive Premier League start for him. And up front, 7 goals already in the Premier League, and a Ballon d'Or nominee, as announced today, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. The Sheffield United players will gather for a huddle. They're ready for action. So is Chris Sutton. What are you expecting here tonight, Chris?
If I'm honest, I really haven't a clue. I would think that what's at stake for Arsenal tonight, the fact they can jump into third place, they need a big performance. But, you know, we've seen the way Sheffield United have played this season, and they fear absolutely no one. Pushed Liverpool really close. It was only that howler from Henderson, you know, where Liverpool ended up winning the game. They just need a little bit more punch up top. Will the partnership McGoldrick and Mousset pay dividends tonight?
I'll let you listen to Bramall Lane for a couple of seconds. Doesn't put goosebumps on the forearms, I'm not sure what will. The Greasy Chip Butty song. I've got a good Sheffield United supporting friend who was absolutely convinced after 40 years of singing that song that the second line was Barrel of Maggots. He only recently found out that it's Barrel of Magners, a local beer, and he was utterly shocked and disgusted to find out that he'd been singing it wrong all those years. We're underway here at a very atmospheric Bramall Lane. Arsenal kicking from left to right towards the Kop end of this famous old ground. The ball on the Arsenal left as we look at things at the moment. And here's the first touch for Guendouzi, just inside his own half. He plays it square to Callum Chambers. Back it goes to the edge of the penalty area. Socrates with number 5 on his back. David Luiz with his curly flock of hair. Down the left-hand side it goes to Sakho, who's done very well, hasn't he? Alexandre Lacazette, a reminder, is available off the bench after missing 7 games with an ankle injury. But he'll have to fight his way back into the side, Chris, do you think?
Well, yeah, and, you know, that partnership, Lacazette and Aubameyang, so fruitful last season. A lot of Arsenal fans wanted to see them play together more, but certainly Saka doesn't deserve to be left out. His performances so far in this Arsenal team
A minute gone, Bramall Lane, BBC Radio 5 Live, Sheffield United 0, Arsenal 0. Arlo White's with you alongside Chris Sutton, and Sheffield United have the first free kick of the game for the foul on Jack O'Connell. Tight to the left touchline, that's what these three centre-backs do. Egan in the middle, Basham wide towards the right, O'Connell towards the left. It's Chris Wilder's system, and it's working well for them so far, and they've got the game's first corner, and just listen to the roar.
There's a strong challenge in the middle of the park from John Fleck. The ball deflected behind the corner to Sheffield United.
They're attacking the stand that was once known as the Bramall Lane end. It will be taken right-footed, taken short to the side of the penalty area, and now the cross comes in from Norwood. It's low, it's repelled at the near post. Still though with Norwood, who tried to flick it back.
It wasn't a good ball from Lundstrom. Tried to take it short from the left-hand side into Norwood. Not the pace on the ball back for him to get the cross, and it was cut out. And a pity for Sheffield United. The centre-backs had gone forward.
So the Irishman Enda Stevens will take a throw in on Sheffield United's left-hand side, and he gets the return ball brilliantly. He's into the penalty area, the cross, and it's blocked away for another corner. Callum Chambers with some excellent defending. That was all too easy for Sheffield United down the left-hand side.
It was a little give and go. Enda Stevens 1-2 off the throw-in. Guendouzi asleep, cut out by Chambers.
So it's John Fleck, the Scot, with the left foot, who will curl this one out from the United left-hand side. The heads go up. It's won by Arsenal and falls back here to Fleck on the left-hand side, who's got Aubameyang for company. Aubameyang sticks out a right leg to concede the throw. Just about level with the edge of the penalty area on the left-hand side. A good, positive start by Sheffield United, who are camping in the Arsenal half in the early stages. O'Connell's made a terrific run down the left-hand side. The centre-back by the corner flag, gets a cross in, it's low. Doesn't find a teammate, and it's hoiked clear by Callum Chambers towards the halfway line. Nodded down by Baldock, tries to find a teammate, and then it's Norwood who clips it over on the right-hand side towards a galloping Baldock, and eventually it's off his teammate and out for a goal kick. But again, positivity from Sheffield United.
Yep, lots of energy down that right-hand side from George Baldock. Good hold-up play from Mousset, who laid it back into midfield. He got the cross in. Guendouzi didn't deal with it very well, but Arsenal get lucky, goes behind for a goal kick.
And as they have been known to do this season, it's a goal kick taken short inside the area to the left-hand side to David Luiz. They came a cropper at Watford a couple of times. Socrates on that occasion made a big mistake. Now he's back with Leno again, and he's under pressure, but gets the ball clear towards the halfway line. Aubameyang beaten in the air, but it falls here to Callum Chambers on the right-hand side. Remember, Hector Bellerin is fit again, but it's Pepe who rolls it across, and that's a decent service just ahead of Aubameyang in the 6-yard box. Henderson was scamping across his goal. He couldn't get there. No harm done, but it's still here with Saka for Arsenal, and they'll have themselves a corner kick after the challenge goes behind in front of the Kop.
What a ball that was from Pepe. Right-hand channel for Arsenal in the wide area. He put a tantalising ball in, crossed the 6-yard line. Aubameyang wasn't far away at all. It's going to be the danger, that pace that Arsenal have up top.
So Nicola Pepe will take the corner kick. David Luiz is forward. Callum Chambers on the edge of the penalty area. Socrates on the penalty spot. It's swung in, doesn't beat the first man. Claims for another corner, and he'll get a second opportunity here, Pepe, to send a better service in. It was Enda Stevens who put it behind for the corner kick. 5 minutes on the clock. Bramall Lane on 5 Live. If you're just joining us, Sheffield United 0, Arsenal 0. Here goes the corner to the near post. It's Chambers who tries to flick it on. This time it's Lundstrom who puts it behind, and will try again for a third time.
Yeah, worryingly for Sheffield United, Lundstrom shouldn't let Chambers get in front of him in that near post space.
Aubameyang's at the back post. It's Callum Chambers making a run towards the near post. Oh, now then, was Socrates pulled to the ground? That looked like a foul from where we were sitting. We'll have to wait and see if VAR gets involved. But in the meantime, it's a breakaway for Sheffield United and an excellent challenge by Matteo Guendouzi to deny Lys Mousset before he galloped down the left-hand side. Now then, we've got an injured Sheffield United player on the edge of his own penalty area. And meantime, we can take a little look at the replay above our heads here, Chris Sutton.
Oh, there was certainly a tug on Socrates.
I think it's Norwood, isn't it?
Yeah, you run the risk. You're seeing it again. He attacks the ball. Socrates, there was a tug. Enough for him to go down like that? I'm not so sure.
It was John Egan, in fact, the centre-back, the Irishman, who just got a handful, clearly got a handful of shirt.
Risky game, but not enough for VAR to overturn anything.
Well, they'll be checking absolutely everything as the game continues, obviously. A natural pause in play here as the injured Sheffield United player is seen to. But I think Chris Wilder would have been, who we're seeing in conversation with the fourth official, would have been a little concerned with that situation. By the way, Phil Jagielka's warming up, the 37-year-old who's rejoined the club from Everton in case he is required. And remember, he went in goal for the last half an hour the last time these two sides met here. It was a 1-0 win in 2006 for Sheffield United. Paddy Kenny pulled up injured. Neil Warnock decided not to have a goalkeeper on the bench that day, and Phil Jagielka played out of his skin and kept a clean sheet for that final half an hour. 7 minutes gone, 0-0, and we're getting back underway. Jack O'Connell with the throw on the near side, so no VAR intervention. Ender Stevens was the injured party. He's back onto the field now. Callum Chambers lobs it down the right-hand side to no one in particular. It's Egan with a powerful header into the Arsenal half of play. And another excellent header by Lundstrom. Was that a foul on Mousset on the edge of the penalty area? No, according to today's referee, who is Mike Dean. The boos echo around Bramall Lane as Mousset slowly climbs to his feet, hobbling slightly. Maybe the wind knocked out of him in this challenge with Socrates.
I think it's a fair challenge. Both players committed to the ball, eyes on the ball. Socrates coming out on top, just stronger.
Lively opening, both managers down in their technical areas. We've got Unai Emery in his blue jacket pointing to where he wants a couple of his players to be. It's the black gilet and trainers and tracksuit bottoms for Chris Wilder. His toes are on the edge of the technical area, cutting a poised figure. 52 years old now, Chris Wilder, born in Stocksbridge, a boyhood Sheffield United fan in his fourth season here. In fact, he's won promotion as a manager in 3 of his last 4 seasons, 2 with Sheffield United and 1 with Northampton Town. A manager with a burgeoning reputation. Bernd Leno's taking his time with the ball at his feet here.
Both managers incredibly successful. They've gone down contrasting management paths, I think it's fair to say. Chris Wilder, Alfreton, Halifax, Oxford, Northampton and Sheffield United. Unai Emery, more glamorous, is that fair to say?
I think it's more than fair to say. PSG,
Seville, Valencia, Spartak Moscow.
Sheffield United in possession. It's rolled back to Dean Henderson in all lime green. He elects to send the ball high up towards the Arsenal half of play. Kolasinac wins a header on the halfway line towards the left-hand side. Chris Basham is challenging for the ball. It's sent down the left-hand side for Arsenal. Joe Willock who was in pursuit. It was Egan who got the ball clear. But now what can Sheffield United do? They'll have to build from the back through Dean Henderson, who is under pressure from Aubameyang, left-footed down the line in the air. It's won in the air on the halfway line by Callum Chambers. 0-0 at Bramall Lane here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Another very physical challenge, but another fair one, I think it's fair to say, by Socrates. This time on Mousset again.
He's an all-in type of defender, isn't he, Socrates? Rugged. He won the ball.
McGoldrick does well, but Pepe nicks the ball off him and finds his teammate Guendouzi. Now here come Arsenal through Granit Xhaka. The ball played through towards Aubameyang. There's a chance he would have been offside had he taken possession of the ball, which is rolled out of play for a Sheffield United throw. He didn't gallop after it anyway.
What we do know is if the Sheffield United back line are going to play a high line against Aubameyang, they better get it right, because he is lightning.
This time there is a foul. It's Callum Chambers into the back of McGoldrick, 10 yards or so inside the Sheffield United half on their left-hand side. So with VAR, bearing in mind we were chatting about it before the game, why would VAR not have intervened in that situation, Chris, with the tug on the shirt by Socrates?
Nothing surprises me anymore with VAR. I couldn't possibly tell you. I think I'm in the majority in the country. And people, football fans, don't have a clue much as well with regards to VAR. Baffling this season.
John Egan was the culprit and maybe feels he got away with one there. It's sent forward down the left-hand side, a searching ball by Granit Xhaka, one for Aubameyang to chase. It's Basham, the right centre-back of the three, who clears it out of play for an Arsenal throw-in. Halfway inside the Sheffield United half of play on their left-hand side.
3 years ago tomorrow, Sheffield United played Bradford City in League One, and Chris Basham was a centre-half.
He was a free transfer from Blackpool. You look at his resume.
Yeah.
Bolton, Stafford Rangers on loan, Rochdale on loan, and Blackpool.
And that back line, I mean, they've all done the work in the lower leagues. And it's great for the game, isn't it? It's great to see that they've been nurtured in good shape under Chris Wilder.
And they've got the joint best defensive record with Liverpool, haven't they? Having conceded just 7 goals in their opening 8 games. Bernd Leno manages to gather a long ball through. No team has conceded fewer goals in open play either in the Premier League this season going into the weekend. Just the 5 for Sheffield United. Arsenal made a mess of trying to play the ball out from the back once again. Poor control by Socrates, who didn't appreciate the ball towards him, I don't think. He concedes the throw-in. Enda Stevens flicks it down the line. It's off an Arsenal player last, just about level again with the edge of the penalty area. Left-hand side for the red and white striped shirted Sheffield United side. They have a throw-in. Stevens to take it. He has Jack O'Connell as an option, who's making a run into the penalty area now. It's a super throw, and outstretched was Callum Chambers. He got ghosted in behind Guendouzi again that time, twice. O'Connell.
Guendouzi really switching off, and Chambers came to his rescue, but he has conceded a corner.
Oliver Norwood will stride across to take it. Another bargain basement signing, £2 million from Brighton last January. An all-action midfielder, the Northern Ireland international. Left arm raised, yellow boots, in swings the corner. It's headed clear back towards him, but out for a throw-in. And the set-piece delivery from either side, not quite up to scratch so far. But here's Fleck with a dangerous cross into the 6-yard box, and it's collected cleanly by Bernd Leno under pressure from McGoldrick. That was a good service.
Good feet from Fleck in the wide area. And Leno anticipated the cross really well. That's a bad challenge.
Big challenge has gone in here by Fleck, and it's left an Arsenal player in a heap on the floor. Is it Aubameyang? And here comes the referee across to have a little word here and see if he might take some further action. He's getting a lot of pressure, Mike Dean, from the Arsenal bench, and it's a yellow card.
I don't like to see that, though. The Arsenal bench, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Getting off the bench and walking towards the touchline. It was a bad challenge. Fleck goes to ground, and he does catch Aubameyang on the follow-through. And Mike Dean, well, we know he loves to brandish a card. He does it in such style, doesn't he?
Panache. It's over 100 reds, isn't it? And he's just explaining here to Granit Xhaka and Matteo Guendouzi why he offered the yellow card in that situation. But I think you're right, Chris. You could describe it as reckless. It certainly wasn't. I don't think
yellow's right. I think it was a committed challenge. It was late. He went to ground.
Didn't necessarily fall into the excessive force and endangering the safety of an opponent bracket. Although tell that to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who's limping back onto the field, hobbling on his left leg. Here's Sakho on the left-hand side.
In the 1980s, that would have been described as a perfect challenge.
Yep. Unai Emery was unimpressed. Callum Chambers now. in possession inside the Arsenal half on the right-hand side. Bit of space for Guendouzi. Nice little flick through towards Willock by Aubameyang, who's moving a little easier now. Ender Stevens on the left-hand side in possession, and he wins the throw off the heels of Callum Chambers.
Willock's the one in the Arsenal midfield in more of an advanced role. Guendouzi and Xhaka deeper. Xhaka the real anchor.
He started the first 3 Premier League games of the season, Joe Willock, and then has been on the bench for the last 5. Scored his first goal at the Emirates against Nottingham Forest in the EFL Cup. Here comes Sheffield United down the right-hand side through Baldock into the feet of Lundstrom. Back to Baldock. That's Basham. He's had his shirt tugged by Saka. The cross comes in towards Mousset, and it's David Luiz who gets his header clear. Claims of handball in the centre of the park go unnoticed by Mike Dean, and here's Nicola Pepe down the right-hand side. He's switched it to his left foot. Wide he goes to Saka, twisting and turning in the penalty area with George Baldock. Still Saka. He has support arriving behind him. It's good defending by Sheffield United, organised. They've repelled Arsenal, but here's Guendouzi towards the left corner of the penalty area. Arsenal attacking the Kop end here at Bramall Lane. Here's Granit Xhaka, 15 yards outside the penalty area. The diagonal ball towards Callum Chambers, brings the ball down nicely. It was awkward to deal with, very high, but he brought it down on his chest. Can he get a cross in? He does towards the near post, and it's cleared left-footed by Jack O'Connell. Only back towards Chambers. He keeps the ball in play, finds Xhaka. Square ball across to Matteo Guendouzi. Guendouzi chips it left-hand side. Kolasinac joins the attack against Baldock, who goes to ground very successfully, the wing-back. Excellent challenge by him, but he concedes the throw-in on the Arsenal left by the corner flag.
Yeah, they're so well organised, aren't they? That back line from Sheffield United, shuffling across the pitch, getting the distances right. That's why they haven't conceded many goals this season. Got to stay concentrated though against this Arsenal team, we know, who are extremely capable going forward.
18 minutes on the clock here at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 0, Arsenal 0. Sheffield United in possession on the halfway line through Fleck. He turns towards his left. He's dispossessed as he tried to play it out towards Stevens by Pepe, but then Guendouzi, who apologises to his teammates, gives the ball away. Sheffield United have it back through Norwood to the central defender, who is Basham, all the way back to Dean Henderson, who of course is on a season-long loan from Manchester United, his second season on loan at Sheffield United. He started all 55 league games now since he's been at the club. United win the ball back in the centre circle. Fleck back to Egan, and Egan wide on the left-hand side to O'Connell. O'Connell and Egan both bought from Brentford. So these Sheffield United players, they've played at all levels of the game, and they look comfortable at the moment. 8 and a bit games into their first Premier League season in 12 years. A long way in this season to go. Ender Stevens left touchline just inside the Arsenal half, and he finds David McGoldrick, the Irish centre forward who's missed the last 3 Premier League games through injury. Mousset now might break for McGoldrick on the edge of the penalty area. He plays it to Fleck. Fleck with the cross, and it's David Luiz who prevents the ball from arriving at the feet of Mousset in the penalty area. Still with Sheffield United on the left-hand side. Ender Stevens flicks it past Guendouzi, continues his run. The ball played by Fleck into the path, and it's the chance just before the 6-yard area. I don't think he quite knew it was coming towards him there, Lys Mousset. It was fizzed into him, caught him by surprise. He couldn't turn it goalwards.
No, it was clever play down the left-hand side. That's an opportunity, really. It's just fired across by Ender Stevens. Mousset on the 6-yard line, just needs to get a deft touch on the ball. Got it all wrong. Sheffield United have to take those chances.
Mousset's 1 Premier League goal of the season came at Everton in that win. It's an easy corner for Leno to deal with. Instead of catching it, he punches it. Here's Norwood again on the left-hand side, crosses in towards the near post, and it's the right corner of the 6-yard box where Callum Chambers heads it clear. Lovely bit of footwork from Pepe to evade a couple of challenges. Saka, here come Arsenal on the break. Granit Xhaka towards the halfway line. He rolls it out to the left-hand side. Kolasinac is on the overlap. Here's Kolasinac. He's got players to aim for. Pepe is one of them. He's missed an absolute sitter. He's onside. 3, maybe 4 yards out. He's ended up in the back of the net. The ball hasn't. The ball has gone out for a throw-in.
Such a good break, wasn't it, from Arsenal? Saka finding Xhaka in the middle of the park, and then a really good overload down the left-hand side. Perfectly weighted ball from Willock. Kolasinac galloping on and puts a ball in. Pepe, as he 5 yards out, centre of the goal on his favoured left foot. He gets a touch on the ball. How does he miss that? All the money spent on him, he's got to be burying that.
Unai Emery applauding above his head, trying to raise the spirits of Nicola Pepe, who has yet to score, as I mentioned earlier, from open play for Arsenal. He will never get a better chance than that, and the ignominy of it was in the end that it went out for a throw-in on the near side. What a lovely move by Arsenal, though. They've served notice against Sheffield United.
It's a warning sign, isn't it? We can break so quickly.
Free kick to the Blaze just inside the Arsenal half.
You wonder how Nicola Pepe's feeling after that. You mentioned he hasn't had the greatest start in an Arsenal shirt. That was gilt-edged. It really was an absolute sitter.
The very definition of sitter. Sheffield United in possession on their right-hand side. And here's Norwood, who plays it calmly into the feet of Basham. Now here's Baldock on the right touchline. Lundstrom with the deep cross, but it's headed clear by Socrates. Only as far as Norwood again. That's a foul. And here's an opportunity for Sheffield United. And it was a little robust, shall we say, from Granit Xhaka.
How many times over the years have we seen Granit Xhaka go into challenges which can only be described as brainless? Couldn't win the ball, bulldozed through the back of the Sheffield United midfielder, and now he's put his team under pressure.
And it's about 20 yards outside the penalty area. Granit Xhaka, if he does get a yellow card today, it will be his 5th of the season. He'd be suspended against Palace at the weekend. Norwood to take it. It may be too far out for a shot. Two-man wall. And he's got options to his left-hand side, and he clips it in towards Egan, and it's Chambers who concedes the corner for Sheffield United on the Blades' left-hand side.
Yep, Chambers getting a high five off one or two of his teammates. Disciplined defending, stuck to his task well, took no chances.
23 minutes in, 5 Live Sport at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 0, Arsenal 0. Corner taken short, Norwood rolls it back to Stevens. Fleck, room for a left-footed cross. He drills it in low, but it's repelled at the near post, and the throw-in is conceded level with the edge of the penalty area. They're trying a lot of low crosses in towards that Arsenal box, and so far they haven't worked. Ender Stevens with the throw. O'Connell is an option down the left touchline, but he goes inside to Fleck, still with Stevens. Then Fleck flicks it forward, and now it's with O'Connell in the penalty area. Another attempted low cross. This time it's Socrates who defends it. I think it may have come off O'Connell last. No, it's not. It's Mike Dean, much to the annoyance of the Arsenal side, namely Callum Chambers, who thought the throw-in was theirs. It's not. Down by the corner flag on the Sheffield United left-hand side. Ender Stevens to take it. Ball above his head. Red and white striped shirt, number 3 on his back. Here's Fleck on the near touchline. Nicola Pepe, who missed that sitter just moments ago, wins the ball back for Arsenal. It's on their right-hand side in the corner. Flick down the line. Saka couldn't control the ball. Egan steps forward, he can. Here he is again. And now it's O'Connell, the left centre-back, right on the left touchline. Ender Stevens is dispossessed by Joe Willock. And it's no nonsense from Chambers up towards the halfway line, where Egan wins a header and concedes the throw.
They've actually, Sheffield United, to their credit, they've taken the game to Arsenal. Arsenal had that opportunity, a couple of opportunities on the counter. Sheffield United out of the trap, so no fear.
Arsenal playing the ball out from the back, and it's Xhaka who played it back to Leno, then he sent it long. O'Connell won the header on the halfway line. Here's Guendouzi, some work to do, but he got there just ahead of Mousset, and he finds Kolasinac, whose terrific cross wasn't converted a few minutes ago by Nicola Pepe. Best piece of football we've seen in the game so far. Chambers down the line looking for Aubameyang. That's too strong, and O'Connell will just watch it behind for a goal kick.
Pass from a professional footballer. Chambers wouldn't say it's a natural position for him, the right back position, but he just had to pass the ball nicely 20 yards to Aubameyang in the wide right channel, and he massively overhit it.
26th minute, sorry Chris, and we await our first shot on target.
Well, Pepe should have had a shot on target, should have scored.
There's no question about that. They've dropped off here, the Arsenal defence. Mousset couldn't take control of that long goal kick from Henderson, and the chance has gone. Here's Socrates, finds Callum Chambers on the right-hand side. Spent last season on loan at Fulham. Gets it back from Pepe. Nice little back flick back to Pepe by Callum Chambers. What will Pepe do here? He'll just chip it out to the left-hand side towards the left-back, Sead Kolasinac. Only a matter of time, surely, before Kieran Tierney takes that left-back spot from him. He's been struggling with hip and groin injuries so far since he was signed on transfer deadline day from Celtic, a player you know, I'm sure, an awful lot about, Chris.
Yep, he's an outstanding talent, terrific attitude, absolutely loves football.
Built for the Premier League?
Yep, is a really good athlete. I think he'll develop nicely at Arsenal. I think they've got a player on their hands, and once he gets his opportunity in the first team, I don't see him coming out.
He's on the bench tonight along with Alexandre Lacazette. Mousset almost wriggled through the challenge on the corner of the area by Socrates, who just managed to regain his balance and poke the ball away from the Frenchman. And here's Guendouzi. That was a nice looking ball towards Aubameyang. A sliding Egan managed to prevent it from sending the Gabonese forward clear. Here comes Sheffield United into the Arsenal half. A heavy challenge by Guendouzi. Chris Wilder's arms outstretched in appeal. We play on. McGoldrick, left touchline it goes, level with the edge of the penalty area to Enda Stevens. Jack O'Connell on the overlap, the number 5. A deep cross this time. That looks dangerous, but it's nodded clear, not very effectively by the Arsenal defence. Ball in the penalty area. Kolasinac with the second attempt gets it cleared towards Willock, who nods it on towards Saka. Lundstrom with the header. It's come off Saka last, 20 yards inside the Arsenal half on the right-hand side, and it's a throw to the Blades.
Yeah, certainly not making it easy for Arsenal. Arsenal, Emery, I don't think he expected it to be a stroll in the park. This is a really well-organised outfit, Sheffield United.
Well, they're 15th in the table at the moment. A convincing win could lift them as high as 8th. They're 1 point above the bottom 3.
Yeah, but they've had the performances, Arlo, haven't they?
They have. Particularly on the road at Everton, a 2-0 win. A 2-2 draw at Chelsea was a terrific result. Their one win at home was against Crystal Palace. They've lost their last 3 since, but they've drawn with Bournemouth, Chelsea and Watford as well. 9 points from 8 games is their most at this stage of a top-flight season since 1974. This is their first Premier League season in 12 years. Thank you.
Very good stat.
I haven't fully researched the stats, so I don't know how many top-flight seasons there have been since 1974. So I've let myself down a little bit. Here's O'Connell on the halfway line. Enda Stevens left touchline. Back to O'Connell in those bright, luminous yellow boots. Stevens chips it forward towards the edge of the penalty area. The flick back goes to Fleck. It's Mousset wriggling away in the penalty area. Breaks here to Enda Stevens. There's the cross. It's off David Luiz at the near post and behind for another corner.
That's
all, Sheffield United.
All United. Arsenal cannot get out. And Mousset, good little layoff there, and they work the ball wide again. It seems to have all been down this Sheffield United left-hand side. Cross cut out. Another Sheffield United corner.
Approaching the half-hour mark. Sheffield United's 6th corner. 0-0 here at Bramall Lane. Deeper service this time towards the back post. Then it comes in. Here's the opening goal. Sheffield United are in front on the half-hour mark. What a moment here at Bramall Lane. Lys Mousset, his second in the Premier League this season. A predatory strike. He's across to celebrate with his manager Chris Wilder, who gives him a high five and then shoves him back onto the pitch. Half an hour gone. Sheffield United 1, Arsenal 0.
Yeah, and the Blades thoroughly deserved this. They needed the cutting edge. Needed to take the chance when it came along. Arsenal, soft Arsenal, couldn't defend the corner. O'Connell gets up really well at the back post, knocks the ball across, and Mousset is only 2 yards out. Just has to get the contact. He does get the contact, right-footed into the back of the net. Deserved lead.
£10 million from Bournemouth, Lys Mousset. And what a moment for him. His first goal at Bramall Lane, starting here for Sheffield United, and he was all alone 2 yards out after the header was won. All the defenders attracted towards O'Connell. Lys Mousset, a solitary figure. He might have studied it in, actually, with the sole of his boot. But what he managed to do, exactly what Nicola Pepe didn't a few moments ago for Arsenal, and it's the Blades who leads the Gunners. And the decibel level is deafening here at Bramall Lane.
Well, they've been the better team. They're the team who have taken the game to Arsenal. They've been braver, they've been better in possession. Arsenal have had the opportunity. They didn't take on the counter-attack, but Arsenal really haven't got going.
Can they make something here? Here's Guendouzi on the right-hand side. Rolls it into the feet of Nicola Pepe. Guendouzi's got it back. He's got Chambers on the right touchline. Exchanges passes with Saka. Saka again. Chambers still tight to that right touchline. Saka runs in towards the right corner of the penalty area. Tried the chipped cross. It was headed clear by Egan. And Sheffield United clear their lines. Referee Mike Dean has spotted an infringement, and they don't survive. They were comfortable, the Sheffield United defence. Yeah. And it'll be Dean Henderson to take the free kick.
Isn't it interesting though? Sheffield United get the goal, and we see a little bit of intent from Arsenal, making passes in the middle of the park. You could say, of course it's not too late, but why is it taking a goal in 32 minutes for Arsenal to get started?
Well, it's more road woe for the Gunners. They won 1-0 at Newcastle on the opening weekend. No wins in 3 in the Premier League since then. And only 4 wins in their last 17 Premier League games away from the Emirates. It's a big problem. Here's Sheffield United again in the penalty area. Big challenge. Is that going to be a penalty kick? No, says Mike Dean.
Well, they'll be checking it, of course, and you never know what Stockley Park are going to do. I didn't think there was enough contact.
Yep, Baldock was brought down, but here come Arsenal on the counter-attack. And Callum Chambers, chance here towards Aubameyang. His shot is deflected. Will it go out of play? Pepe will allow it to bounce out of play for an Arsenal corner kick. There was a little tussle between Ender Stevens and Matteo Guendouzi as well. Chris, let's take a look at this replay.
Monitor. There is a shove, but I think it's shoulder to shoulder. I think Kolasinac's just too strong.
Mike Dean not pressing his finger towards his ear, so I would
He's
assume
very
from
good
that,
at it though, isn't he?
He is. I'd assume from that, check complete, and we can get on with the corner kick, which will be taken left-footed on the Arsenal right, so curled in by Pepe. In towards the near post, it's low. This is a training ground routine. The flick was nice, but then it was well defended by Sheffield United. But Saka wins the ball back for Arsenal. Centre of the pitch, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Saka into the penalty area. He goes down under the challenge by Egan, and he's going to be booked for simulation. Yellow card for Bukayo Saka. It was heart-in-mouth time for Sheffield United. Egan with the challenge. Saka has been booked, and there's a melee down there on the touchline as well,
they're all
between both
bench.
coaching staffs.
The Arsenal bench are furious. Lacazette in the mix. He's involved. The whole bench up surrounding the fourth official. You see here, Kolasinac into Saka. Oh, there is contact, but is he on his way down? Got a better angle to see it here. Oh, I think that Mike Dean is enjoying giving the yellow card. Does he trip himself?
Now there can be contact and it not be a foul and a penalty, Chris. But is that a stretch to say that that's simulation and a yellow card?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think he's dived. Mike Dean coming over now, and I think we may see a yellow card. Brandish. It's to Freddie Ljungberg. Yep.
Freddie Ljungberg shakes his head and walks back towards the dugout. So something must have been said towards the fourth official, or maybe to the the Sheffield United coaching staff, and it's the former Arsenal player, Freddie Ljungberg, who now takes his seat on the bench so he can do no further damage.
I don't think he deserved the yellow card, I have to say.
Saka.
Yep.
It was an electrifying burst of pace into the penalty area, wasn't it, by the youngster. Egan with the challenge. There was contact. Was it enough for a penalty? That's questionable. But was it simulation? That's also very questionable.
Not enough for a penalty, but not simulation.
Ball flicked in towards the Sheffield United half of play, and it's Egan who was involved in that last incident, who rolls it back calmly to his goalkeeper Henderson, then collects the ball again on the right hand side of the penalty area. 36 minutes gone, Sheffield United 1, Arsenal 0 here on 5 Live Sport at Bramall Lane. Lys Mousset with the only goal of the game so far. Nicola Pepe has missed an absolute sitter for Arsenal from 5 yards out.
Well, we have this simulation game on 606 on a Saturday night. Ali Bruce Ball trying to clean up the game around the world, so had Saka dived, certainly he would have called him out for it. I don't think he did.
I love your two-man crusade to save football.
Well, that's Ali Bruce Ball, really. Doing
it's a one-man crusade.
one-man crusade, doing a very good job. They're still doing it though. Players are still doing it. Not tonight so far.
Here's David Luiz approaching the halfway line. He's now into the Sheffield United half of play. Long ball forward towards Aubameyang. The flag had stayed down. Whether he'd have taken possession of the ball, whether the flag would have gone up, we're not sure. It skipped through harmlessly in the end to Dean Henderson.
It was a good move. He was onside. I thought it was a close one, wasn't it? The ball just played too far.
Henderson sends it high into the night sky here in Sheffield. It only just makes it into the Arsenal half, but here come Sheffield United, and they look slick on the counter-attack. Here's Fleck, opens his hips and finds Ender Stevens on the left-hand side. The chip, the cut back towards the edge of the penalty area, doesn't find a teammate. Arsenal bring it clear through Pepe. Now Aubameyang on the right-hand side. Mike Dean is playing an advantage because Pepe has been brought down in the United half. Here is Aubameyang, right-hand side. Is Egan with the challenge. He concedes the throw-in. I think there's going to be a yellow card here.
Yep, he's got the yellow. Dino.
Mike Dean has another yellow card, and the trainer has been called on for Pepe.
It's O'Connell.
Yep. Jack O'Connell will get a yellow card for that. And it's left Pepe on his back inside the Arsenal half of play. He just... well... Pepe released the ball and O'Connell has just barged him. He just didn't move out of his way, did he?
That's something which you'd see at the Rugby World Cup, possibly.
And it might have been a yellow card there as well. So O'Connell, one of the overlapping centre-backs.
They have sin bins as well, don't they?
They do, 10-minute sin bins, I believe, for yellow cards. Callum Chambers will take a throw-in on the right-hand side, level with the edge of the Sheffield United penalty area. Pepe's got to go off the field, having received treatment, to come back on again. 39 minutes gone. Blades 1, Gunners 0 at Bramall Lane. Chambers with the ball in his right hand above his head. Plenty of movement ahead of him, but Sheffield United with some finely constructed defence to cut out the space. It's back with Pepe. He looks fine again now. Rolls it back to Luis. He finds Socrates on the right hand side, and all the way back it goes. I talked about a finely constructed defence. They're well organised, Sheffield United. Arsenal struggling to play their way through, and that's a poor ball out towards the edge of the penalty area, and Granit Xhaka. It was a sliding challenge by Norwood. The ball pinged straight back to the goalkeeper, a very relieved Bernd Leno.
Well, we've seen it this season, haven't we? Leno, that was a poor ball, too risky. It just wasn't on. Why take that risk? And you get lucky, Arsenal.
Callum Chambers on the right hand side. Forward he goes, running at Ender Stevens. He pivots and spins 180 degrees. Ender Stevens with a terrific challenge, but I think the whistle's going to blow, and it's going to blow in Sheffield United's favour. That's excellent defending by Ender Stevens, drawing the foul from Callum Chambers, having already stopped his progress down that Arsenal right.
Strong defending from Stevens. resilient and resolute, that back line. Arsenal have found it tough.
5th place Arsenal at the moment. If they can turn this around, they could go as high as 3rd. They won their opening 2 games of the season for the first time since 2009. That was victories against Newcastle and Burnley. Then it was 3 without a win against Liverpool, Spurs and Watford. They've enjoyed subsequent wins over Villa and Bournemouth, challenged by Callum Chambers as he lets the ball go behind for a goal kick on McGoldrick. No free kick. 41 minutes gone. 1-0 Sheffield United. Here's Luis in his own penalty area. Out to the touchline to Kolasinac. Back to Luis again. And he rolls it back to his goalkeeper in all blue, Bernd Leno, inside his 6-yard box. To the right side of the penalty area he goes to Socrates. Right touchline to Chambers. Here's Socrates again. It's methodical from Arsenal. They're not making much ground. Now it's Granit Xhaka. Now David Luiz on the Arsenal left. He's closed down by Lundstrom.
So organised with the press though, Sheffield United. Positionally fantastic. They get the distances right. Know when to go in.
Not giving away any ground at all, are they? Ball down the left touchline towards Saka, who looped it into the air, but it was Basham who got the header clear. Here's the goal scorer, Mousset. Some tidy footwork from him, but then he loses out. He was crowded out by 3 yellow-shirted Arsenal players. Guendouzi turns, peers upfield on the halfway line, rolls it short to Pepe. He's got Callum Chambers on the right touchline. Here is Callum Chambers, cuts inside of Ender Stevens, who just sticks to him. And Callum Chambers is struggling to get any space at all against Ender Stevens, who is defending superbly in this first 42 minutes, the former Aston Villa man, who arrived via spells in the lower leagues, as have many of these Sheffield United players. The Republic of Ireland international. Chambers again. He's not going to run at Ender Stevens this time. He rolls it back to Socrates. Square to Guendouzi in between the centre-backs. He's into the Sheffield United half in the centre circle. Now here's Pepe, bit of space. Chambers on his right-hand side. Here's Callum Chambers. The ball left him a bit short. Couldn't quite get the angle for the cross, and it's easily cleared by Egan. And we're back on the halfway line with Socrates. A bit of space here for Granit Xhaka. More space for Pepe, running towards the edge of the penalty area. Here's Aubameyang, back to goal. They're backing away a little bit here, Sheffield United. He chips it in towards the penalty area. Saka is there. He rolls it out to the left side of the area to Guendouzi. Saka again towards the byline. He wins his side a corner. Much better from Arsenal. It was slow, it was methodical, it was almost effective.
Yeah, and they've made passes in the Sheffield United half, and that hasn't happened too much in the first 43 minutes. An opportunity from a corner.
So Nicola Pepe will take it on the Arsenal left. It'll be an outswinger with the left foot. Aubameyang's at the back post. A hanging centre. It's over the head of Socrates, who's been marked again by Egan. And O'Connell brings the ball away. Rolls it down the left-hand touchline towards Lys Mousset, who gets there just ahead of his fellow Frenchman Guendouzi. Guendouzi recovered well and rolled it back to his goalkeeper, Bernd Leno. And he sets Arsenal away again through Willock on the left-hand side. We're approaching half-time. We've had 44 minutes of this first half. So far, so good for Sheffield United, who, if it stays like this, will go up into the top half of the table. This would be a very solid start to the season for the Blades, but it's more travel woe for Arsenal at the moment as we approach half-time. Just waiting for the ball to be held aloft by Anthony Taylor, the 4th official. Here is Guendouzi again, lobs it towards the right corner of the Sheffield United penalty area. It's Baldock who heads it clear and concedes the throw. Pepe over on that left-hand side now. Saka has switched flanks to the right-hand side. Good challenge coming in on Aubameyang. The ball springs into the air. It was Norwood who went to ground. And now a long ball could be on towards McGoldrick, but it's miscued. And Arsenal have possession through Kolasinac.
Yeah, it wasn't a good clearance, and it's coming straight back. Sheffield United, lovely skill from Pepe.
Running towards that penalty area now. In towards Aubameyang. Lovely flick. And towards an advancing teammate in the penalty area. It broke down, still with Arsenal though. Here is Chambers. The player available on the back post is Aubameyang. It's headed clear. The long range shot comes in from Xhaka. It's a terrific save away to his left hand side from Dean Henderson. Goodness me, he must have been 40 yards out.
Yes, he was. And he has a fantastic left foot. Looks behind him as the ball drops him off the chest. One bounce, laces it, and it's going into that top corner. It's a good save from Henderson. I don't think a keeper should be beaten from that range. He takes no chances, gets his feet going well, and palms it behind.
We're into 2 minutes of time added on. One or two of the United fans in the Tony Curry stand here heading for their half-time brew. The corner comes in. It's difficult for Henderson. It was a looping header. And Kolasinac is claiming that it's come off a Sheffield United player, but it's just gone behind and it's a goal kick.
There's a low corner whipped in. Xhaka, who stoops and just helps the ball on.
Comes off his back.
It's not far away, is it? Henderson was panicking, goes to safety.
Henderson places the ball carefully down to take the goal kick. And Sheffield United and Chris Wilder, I am sure, will be nothing short of deliriously happy with the way the first 45 minutes has gone. Leading by 1-0 against the mighty Arsenal, having lost 3 consecutive home games here at Bramall Lane in the Premier League. Lundstram and Xhaka battling for possession. Xhaka used his strength. The Blades fans felt unfairly. Mike Dean was on the spot, he disagreed, and we play on. Chambers into the Sheffield United half of play to Pepe, well defended by Sheffield United to concede the corner down the Arsenal right-hand side as we approach the minute mark of the minimum of 2 added on at the end of this first half. A first half, would you agree, Chris, that Chris Wilder would be delighted with?
Yep, and the best team in front, the hungrier team, absolutely in front. Arsenal, I think you have to question their mentality, Arlo, going in at the break.
Well, standing ovation from the home fans. Mike Dean has blown the whistle. Sheffield United lead by 1-0. Do you think Arsenal's bench, Chris Sutton, is going to play a role in this second half?
Well, they have creativity, they have firepower on the bench, but Arsenal soft again. Set piece, Sheffield United scoring from a corner. Mousset on the money from close range. They're deservedly in front. They've taken the game to Arsenal. They've been braver, they've been better on the ball. They've looked more of a threat, and Arsenal have work to do if they want to end up in third place this evening.
Steve Crossman, Arsenal have conceded 22 Premier League goals from set pieces since the start of last season. That's including penalty kicks. It's happened to them here again today. Half-time, Sheffield United 1, Arsenal 0. Thank you, Steve. Just back underway here at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United leading by Elise Mousset goal to 0, scored in that first half, of course. And one change for Arsenal, and it's the man who was replaced in the starting 11. Danny Ceballos has come on for Joe Willock. That was the one change, Chris, going into the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Ceballos, we know, a player who's really capable and creative, and need to make an impact.
And here come Arsenal into the attack immediately with Pepe twisting into the penalty area towards the byline, and it's off a Sheffield United defender last. And in the first minute of this second half, Arsenal, who are kicking towards the Bramall Lane stand, have a corner kick on their right-hand side. So Pepe will curl this in. Sheffield United had only scored 1 first half goal this season. They doubled that through Mousset. Here's Pepe, that's a good looking service, but it's an excellent header clear as well on the edge of that 6-yard box by McGoldrick, and then a poor first touch for Danny Ceballos, sending the ball out on the full when he was looking to play it back to Pepe on that touchline. We shouldn't have given him the big leg up, really. That was awful, wasn't it? It really was. I think it'll get better from a man on loan from Real Madrid.
We'd hope so. If it doesn't, there's trouble. It's a big half this for Arsenal. Let's see what you've got. Show a bit of guts, a bit of determination. Show you're up for a scrap.
Well, Lys Mousset, the goal scorer, it's his first Premier League start of the season. It's his second goal. 50 of his 58 Premier League appearances at Bournemouth were as a substitute. And his only goal of last season, you guessed it, was against Arsenal. And his only start of last season, albeit in a 5-1 defeat. And I find it very interesting that Mesut Ozil isn't in the 18 again for Arsenal for the 3rd consecutive Premier League game.
What do you find interesting about that?
Because he's their highest paid player by some distance.
And clearly something's up, clearly.
It appears to be so. Here's Ceballos looking to make amends for that first touch. Rolls it out to the right-hand side to Chambers. Back it goes to Guendouzi. Granit Xhaka. The problem is when you attain that level of salary, it's getting somebody to take it on, either on loan or to be sold to another club, and they simply can't afford him.
No, there certainly is that. And I think if you asked Arsenal fans, he hasn't shown enough commitment in an Arsenal shirt, or most Arsenal fans would say that. And Emery is leaving him out for a reason.
Here's Aubameyang, just running across the penalty area, 10 yards out. Pepe, he's had a decent evening, except for that chance that he missed from 5 yards. Here's Ceballos, left-hand side of the penalty area, looking to work room for his shot. Good sliding challenge came in to dispossess him. Sheffield United have the ball back, but then they give it away to Guendouzi. Guendouzi, that was committed. He's not fouled. He's told to climb to his feet by Mike Dean, the referee, but he has waved towards the bench as if to say, I need some attention here. Mike Dean unimpressed. He's already given a yellow card to Saka for simulation in the first half, which was perhaps a tad harsh. And now Guendouzi's back on his feet. Doesn't look comfortable, not moving well. He's got blue boots on and he's limping heavily on that right leg. Socrates in possession, rolls the ball into Pepe just inside the Sheffield United half of play. Saka's on the edge of the penalty area. There are bodies out to the left-hand side. Here's Ceballos. One more out to the left to Kolasinac. Back inside to Ceballos. He's got a player, Chambers, coming in off the right flank. The cross goes into the penalty area. It's over the head of Aubameyang, and it's headed clear by Sheffield United by Egan. But it's a good start to the second half by Arsenal. 4 minutes into it, they trail by a goal to nil here at Bramall Lane. Ceballos twisting and turning, right corner of the penalty area. Pepe challenged very well by Norwood, who then implores his teammates to get out from the edge of their penalty area. It's hard to do because Arsenal have the ball back yet again. Here's Chambers, right-hand touchline.
Now, don't know what was in the Arsenal tee at half-time. They've come out on the front foot and sort of had to. Sheffield United just sitting off at present. Chris Wilder urging them to get higher up the pitch and be positive, as they were in the first half.
One player who may make an appearance should they require a goal late on, Gabriel Martinelli, the youngster who's got 4 goals in cup competitions. That's a foul on David Luiz, which the cop here away to our right are wholly unimpressed with. The challenge by McGoldrick into the back of Luiz.
Clever from Luiz, but he's bought that, hasn't he? As a defender, I've got nowhere to go. I'll back in to McGoldrick and go down. That's exactly what he did.
Alexander Lacazette. Oh dear, what's Leno doing? He's played the ball to the edge of the penalty area. Guendouzi did excellently to deal with that, with Norwood right behind him on the edge of the penalty area. That had catastrophe written all over it, but they've got away with it, and actually they've made some good progress down the left-hand side. Egan concedes the throw. 10 yards, 5 yards actually from the corner flag. Kolasinac will take it. Ceballos is behind him in support. He rolls the ball towards him now. Ceballos across the penalty area he goes. Callum Chambers will have a go into the penalty area. Egan, a sliding Egan, managed to clear that before any danger could be done on the edge of the 6-yard box, but they're pinned back here, Sheffield United, and 1 or 2 murmurs and groans around Bramall Lane of frustration that their team can't get hold of the ball and get out from defence. Still with Pepe, twisting away from Fleck. Here's Chambers on the right touchline, cuts inside from that right flank. He plays it towards Xhaka, who came so close from 40 yards in the first half, forcing an excellent save from Dean Henderson. And then there's a foul and a free kick to Sheffield United, which will just relieve the pressure a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important for Sheffield United that Mousset and McGoldrick can get their team up the pitch in this second half. Arsenal have responded, passing the ball around with a bit more purpose.
Here's Chris Basham, and he flicks it with the outside of his right boot to the touchline and bulldog. But there's a spirit, an energy about Arsenal in their pressing. Yeah. And they're making it difficult for Sheffield United, but here they come. It's a challenge by Basham, who was the furthest man forward on Luiz. Back it goes to Leno, under pressure from Mousset. And then a miscontrol by Chambers, who's that off last. It's a Sheffield United throw, halfway inside the Arsenal half on the left-hand side. And just listen to the encouragement from the home fans.
Well, it's been coming from Leno, isn't it? Another sloppy pass. Puts his team under pressure.
Ball forward towards the left corner of the penalty area. It's headed clear by Socrates. Here's McGoldrick. He turns and the cross comes in from the left-hand side. It's a misjudgment and Mousset unable to take advantage of it. Kolasinac got caught underneath the ball there and it was almost a chance for Mousset, and perhaps he'll feel he could have done better.
Well, it's appalling judgment from Kolasinac, who would get drawn under the ball. And he gets lucky on that handball for Mousset. That was half an opportunity for Sheffield United.
Arsenal building down their right-hand side. Here's Nicola Pepe. 53 minutes gone here on 5 Live Sport. Chris Sutton and myself, Arlo White, here at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United leading Arsenal by 1-0, scored in the first half by Lys Mousset, his second Premier League goal of the season to add to his first at Goodison Park in that terrific 2-0 win for the Blades. O'Connell clears towards the halfway line. Now can Mousset hold on to the ball? He's just dragged the shirt of Socrates. Mike Dean, I think, playing on and playing the advantage, allowing Arsenal to keep possession. Kolasinac turns back, rolls it into the feet of Danis Ceballos with his yellow boots matching his yellow socks. He turns away from Mousset. Square ball to Granit Xhaka. He's closed down by Norwood, so goes out to the right-hand side to Guendouzi. Guendouzi running towards the penalty area. Here's Pepe on his left foot. He's got Fleck for company. Square ball to Ceballos. Good organisation by Sheffield United, but they do look more confident, Arsenal, in possession in this second half so far. Guendouzi towards the right corner of the penalty area. Here's Chambers. Guendouzi's continued his run down the right. Ceballos with the angle for a cross. It's not a good one. Easy into the midriff of Dean Henderson.
Yeah, too close to Henderson, but there's a pace about Arsenal's passing, a purpose about the passing. When they lose possession, they're pressing the ball better. The question the Arsenal fans will be asking, why on earth did we not start the game like this?
It's a very valid question, Chris, isn't it?
It's so frustrating for Arsenal.
Well, the applause you could hear, and I'm just looking at the cop away to the right-hand side, and to a man, woman and child, the cop have all stood up. Lys Mousset is going to be replaced by a local hero. So they're applauding Mousset, the goal scorer, off the field, and they will roar Billy Sharp onto the field. Billy Sharp back from that 3-match suspension for his red card at Southampton, 33 years of age now. Got the equaliser at Bournemouth on the opening day. It's his only career shot in the Premier League, but he looks full of running, full of energy, and he's been serenaded by the cop here at Bramall Lane now, number 10 on his back. Ball back with Leno, all in blue, the Arsenal goalkeeper. Socrates thumps it downfield. Egan wins the header for Sheffield United, and Arsenal have a throw on the right-hand side.
Good defending that from Egan. Egan, but above Aubameyang. Just trying to weather this good start to the second half from Arsenal.
Chris Wilder, hands in the pockets of his shiny black gilet, black tracksuit bottoms with white stripes down the side, with his toes on the line of the technical area. Unai Emery's got...
Is the gilet not the same as a body warmer?
I think it's a posh word for body warmer. Yeah, possibly.
I'd go body warmer.
I'll go gilet.
No surprise.
56 minutes gone, and it's Sheffield United who still lead by 1-0. Billy Sharp on the left-hand side. And he's on his side, a throw down by the corner flag. And Sheffield United, at the moment, appear to have weathered an early storm in the second half from Arsenal. And they're starting to see some more action in the opposite final third now themselves. Throw taken, Sharp with Callum Chambers at his back, right on the byline. And it's a goal kick, signalled by Mike Dean.
Yeah, you can imagine if Sheffield United and Chris Wilder can see this game through, be a massive confidence boost and 3 points for a team who have deserved more this season. They've played well. It's always dangerous when you don't get the points you actually do deserve for a newly promoted team.
It's their worst run of home results since they were in League One, but they were narrow defeats, weren't they, against Leicester City, against Southampton. It was a wonder goal that beat them by Southampton, and then the mistake by Henderson, a 1-0 defeat to Liverpool. They last lost 4 home league games in a row in 1965. But they're just over half an hour away from putting that right. Here's Baldock in the area, and his shot just kind of sliced off his right foot and went into the cop.
Well, he actually, as the ball was off a throw-in, perfectly weighted out to him from John Fleck. I wondered whether it's 18 yards out. Could he take it first time? He took a touch. Kolasinac closed the angle, and then it was a wild strike wide of Leno's left-hand post.
Kolasinac, who's known as the Bosnian Hulk, the Bosnian Bull, and the Tank, now has blonde highlights in his hair. Here's Aubameyang, left touchline in attack for Arsenal. Saka, lovely bit of control, stands it up towards the back post. This could be a chance to Ceballos with the volley, and it's saved by Henderson. He didn't strike it cleanly, but that was an opportunity.
Left-hand side, Aubameyang into Saka, takes the ball beautifully, back to goal, gets to the byline. I don't think Ceballos expected it. Absolutely no conviction in the finish. He's 8 yards out. That's a poor volley into the floor. Henderson gathers.
Arsenal haven't won a Premier League away game in which they were losing at half-time since 2011 at Chelsea. That was 5-3. Here's Pepe. Guendouzi, edge of the penalty area, brings the ball down, back to goal. He's getting support here from Kolasinac. Kolasinac going towards the byline. There's the cross in, and it's cleared on the edge of the 6-yard back box by Egan. But they do look more threatening, they look more lively, there are more options out there. And Denis Ceballos, who had that poor start after his introduction, he's pulling a lot of the strings in the centre of the park here for Arsenal. Here he is in possession again. And just as I say it, he sends a terrible ball into no man's land straight to the chest of George Baldock.
We need to stop praising him. And actually, some of the last-ditch defending from Sheffield United has been top draw.
Here's McGoldrick, and he's got some space just to invite Ender Stevens forward on that left-hand side. McGoldrick is tied to that left touchline. He gets the ball back. Now it's Norwood. Norwood has Baldock waving on the right-hand side, ignores him, goes to the touchline to O'Connell. O'Connell inside to Stevens. O'Connell has continued his run down the left-hand touchline, the centre-back. He's got Callum Chambers ahead of him, so he rolls it back. And here's Norwood again, and it's now Arsenal with 10 men behind the ball. Edge of the penalty area is Lundstrom, and they've got men over on the left-hand side. What a strike into the side netting by Fleck. Half the ground were on their feet thinking that was a goal.
And how good was that? The confidence, popping the ball around, and they work it well. McGoldrick, little ball into Lundstrom, who feeds the ball out to Fleck. He's not far away. A left foot drive from John Fleck into the side netting. I'm not so sure whether Leno is getting there.
Another player who's served his time, Chris, a free transfer from Coventry City. It's another poor clearance by Leno, straight out of play on the far side, throw into Sheffield United on their left, 10 yards inside the Arsenal half. Fleck missed Scotland's second qualifier in the last international break. He made his international debut for the Scots against Russia.
Yeah, it's a trickier game, in fairness.
Had to sit out San Marino away. Sheffield United with the switch to the right wing-back Baldock. He rolls it down the line. Lundstrom back to Baldock. Here's Lundstrom again, room to get the cross in, which he does, and it's Socrates who heads it clear. And in the end, it's an Arsenal throw on their left, level with the edge of the penalty area, but all of a sudden it's Sheffield United seeing more space.
Absolutely, they've now got a foothold in this second half. They had to deal with the Arsenal pressure. They're growing in confidence, Sheffield United.
Alexander Lacazette is out warming up for Arsenal. He's missed 7 games of that ankle injury. Maybe the time is approaching for Unai Emery to reintroduce him to the fold. 62 and a half minutes gone at a very loud Bramall Lane, a very confident Bramall Lane. Their side lead Arsenal by a goal to nil. It's the same scoreline as the last time these two sides met here in 2006. Christian Narde scored that day. He's now at Annan Athletic, would you believe? It was the game where Jagielka went in goal. It's United's only win in the last 15 league games against Arsenal, but it was a memorable one. And here's Socrates with a very good ball out to the right touchline to Callum Chambers. There's menace in this counter-attack. Pepe, what can he do? But he runs into Norwood. Couldn't quite decide what to do with the ball, but Pepe's made a good run down the right-hand side to make himself available for the throw-in. But it's taken inside to Granit Xhaka on his left foot, closed down by Norwood, floats it out to Kolasinac on the left-hand side in front of Unai Emery, hands in his pockets. Here's Ceballos, centre circle, gets it back from Granit Xhaka, out to the right-hand side. He rolls it into the path of Callum Chambers. Chambers has Guendouzi in support. Well-organised defence again by Sheffield United. And it's forced back to Socrates. And now Guendouzi on the right-hand side. Fleck in front of him, defending. Now Pepe in off that right flank. Tried to find Saka. They're all claiming the throw-in. It came off Egan last, according to Mike Dean. Arsenal throw.
So disciplined though, aren't they? Sheffield United in their defending. Shuffling across, getting the distances right.
Ceballos. And he's found Guendouzi with a floated ball in space on the right-hand side. He's immediately closed down by Billy Sharp. He makes some progress out towards the right flank. It's rolled back in field towards Granit Xhaka, the captain. And a bigger contrast in perception from outside of a football club and inside of a football club I don't think you'll ever see than the case of Granit Xhaka. It was Pepe who almost forced his way through. The clearance by Egan out for a throw-in. He's highly criticised by a lot of Arsenal fans and football watchers, but internally they voted him as captain.
Yep. Personally, I don't get that one at all, but seems to have his position cemented in the Arsenal team.
Arsenal have a corner, and it's Pepe who will send it in towards the near post.
Really is.
Cleared away for a throw-in, and it looks like Lacazette's getting ready to come into the game down beneath us. Granit Xhaka, right touchline for Arsenal. What can they create here? Into the area bursts Pepe, but it's O'Connell who gets the ball clear up towards Sharp. This will be an advantage being played, I think, here by Mike Dean, but he's going to blow up for this one. It's a foul by Guendouzi.
No. Well, no, it isn't.
No, it's not.
McGoldrick has
You're
dived.
absolutely right.
I thought he took a dive there. McGoldrick, I thought there should have been an earlier foul for Sheffield United. McGoldrick, he's not protesting. He took the ball, he pushed it past Guendouzi, throws himself to the floor. Simulation, you're better than that.
The second yellow card for simulation of the game. The first went
that was
perhaps
simulation,
unfortunately to Saka, but you've got no problem with that one, Chris.
No, David McGoldrick, Ali Bruce Ball. There's another one.
Yellow card to Kolasinac as well. Maybe that was for a previous challenge. Lacazette pulls on the number 9 jersey, just takes a swig from a bottle as he pulls his jersey down. He's about to come in. Here's Lundstram on the right-hand side for Sheffield United. There was no advantage after the foul by Billy Sharp, so Mike Dean blows his whistle. Free kick to the Blaze, taken quickly by Norwood. And Fleck has a chance from 25 yards. It's straight at Leno, but he spills it and gathers at the second attempt. It must have swerved wickedly in the air. McGoldrick almost prodded it into the empty net.
Well, Xhaka switches off. It's a short free kick. Fleck has space to drive into, 30 yards out. Cuts across the ball. There is a little bit of movement. Leno should do better. Spills the first attempt, which is straight at him. Gathers at the second.
There was a bit of drift on it, but no real menace. Here's Saka towards the byline at the other end. Arsenal kicking to the goal towards our left-hand side. Sheffield United towards our right, kicking towards the goal in front of their cop. Arsenal in possession on the right-hand side through Callum Chambers. The cross comes in, it's a poor one, but it's also a poor couple of clearances by Sheffield United. Falls to Guendouzi, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Back to goal, forced back another 10 yards by Norwood. Now it's Ceballos on his right foot, rolls it into the edge of the penalty area to Pepe. He's got a man outside of him who's Chambers. There goes the cross, and it's just over the head of Saka. It's a poor cross in a very promising situation by Callum Chambers.
Yeah, it was poor. They worked it well out to the right-hand side, but well overhit. The cross fired across too high from Chambers. They're defending the box so well, Sheffield United, but Xhaka off, Lacazette on. Positive substitution.
When we saw the starting 11 for Arsenal, Chris, we pondered why it was so conservative. Well, that isn't the case now. Ceballos has come on to Willock, and now it's Lacazette for Xhaka. Lacazette, as I mentioned, missed 7 games with that ankle injury. It's in the penalty area with Lacazette back to goal, but then cleared by Sheffield United up towards the halfway line. Billy Sharp trying to bring the ball under control, doesn't do so, and here's Ceballos in the centre circle. Rolls it to the left-hand side to Kolasinac. He leaves it to teammate Aubameyang, just working it with a nice bit of footwork towards Lacazette on the corner of the penalty area. In terms of tactics and formation, I'll ask you in a second what that means. I thought McGoldrick might scamper clear there for Sheffield United, but Luis has it under control.
Well, Ceballos has dropped in with Saka playing the 10 role. Aubameyang has come out to the left-hand side, and Lacazette in his favoured centre-forward position.
69 minutes gone, 1-0 still. Saka going in towards the penalty area, and he flicks it in, and it was almost on a plate there for Pepe inside the penalty area. Desperate defending by Sheffield United. They smuggle it behind, but it's a corner kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, you see the Arsenal fans behind that goal getting excited. They feel us coming. Again, scrambled clear from Baldock.
Basham got the initial header in before it could arrive at Nicola Pepe, just in front of Dean Henderson's goal. Arsenal kicking towards their travelling support, taking short. Pepe with the curling cross, no one attacking it, and Henderson able to gather cleanly on the edge of his 6-yard box. It was a very good ball in, and there are 1 or 2 glum faces in the away end, away to our left-hand side, with their side trailing by a 1-0. Unai Emery has made 2 of his 3 substitutions.
I say his face is pretty glum as well.
Lovely little layoff by Billy Sharp to Lundstram, who gets the ball back on the right-hand side from McGoldrick. McGoldrick finds Sharp, he lays it back to McGoldrick again, a little shimmy to get past Guendouzi, and I think the offside flag's going up. It does, against Baldock. He just went a little bit too early there, but nice little interplay on the right-hand side by the Blades.
Yeah, he's a good footballer. McGoldrick is clever. Fed the ball to Baldock, who went early.
Well, the good times are back at Bramall Lane. The attendance announced as 30,775, and they're making plenty of noise. Kolasinac down the left-hand side, just into the United half. Lovely little turn by Aubameyang, plays it back to Kolasinac, then points down the line to where he wanted it back, and Aubameyang then rolls it back to Kolasinac. Here's Guendouzi. Guendouzi towards the penalty area, exchanges passes with Lacazette. The ball breaks to Lacazette. Now it's wide left to Kolasinac. Aubameyang again in that new position out on the left-hand side. Lacazette back to goal, and he's dispossessed, and it's thumped into no man's land by Sheffield United. But in fairness to them, they are quickly out up towards the halfway line.
And that's really good screening from Norwood on Lacazette. And the ball goes into him. He's trying to pinch it off his toes, not letting him get turned and able to play.
Aubameyang into Lacazette, lovely ball, well, almost a lovely ball to Saka on the edge of the penalty area. It was just too strong for him, but Lacazette's done well to win the ball back. And is he fouled just on the edge of the penalty area? Mike Dean says yes. It is about 7 yards outside the area, and it's an opportunity. Lacazette has stayed down, remember, just back from an ankle injury. Mike Dean is pointing to his whistle, so Sheffield United can arrange their wall here. It was who was it with the foul there, Chris? I think it was McGoldrick, wasn't it?
He gave the ball away initially, or like I said, pinched it off him, and he turned, and McGoldrick brings him down. He's made a bit of a difference, Lacazette, got hold of the ball. And Arsenal, things are beginning to happen in an attacking sense, and this is a good position for Arsenal. Perfect position, I think, for a free kick.
Well, Pepe could kill this left-footed. David Luiz tends to fancy these, and it could be spectacular. It could also worry the fans in the second tier behind the goal. Pepe has placed it down, I think, and it's going to be him to take it. Slow run up, left-footed, killed around the wall, but straight to Henderson in the end. That had menace on it when it left his boot, but Henderson anticipated it well.
Yeah, he actually generates a couple of steps, really good pace and accuracy. Henderson simply read it, shuffled across, and plucked it out of the air with ease.
Hasn't allowed that mistake to allow the Wijnaldum goal against Liverpool to get to him. By all accounts, a very confident character, Dean Henderson, according to the England squad because of injury recently. And unbeaten so far tonight. 73 minutes on the clock, 5 Live Sport on a Monday night at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 1, Arsenal 0. Lys Mousset with the goal, who has subsequently been substituted for Billy Sharp. Here's Lacazette on as a substitute for Arsenal. Goes to ground a little easily there, but the ball breaks kindly for him again. Lacazette, 35 yards out, rolls it to Pepe on his left foot. He'll go for goal again, and he wasn't far away. And Henderson was leaping with his right arm, and he was mightily concerned.
Well, Lacazette brought some real sharpness to Arsenal's attacking play. Pepe chops inside, left-footed, must be 25 yards out, bend and dip. Henderson goes for it. And that's a yard past the right-hand post.
Nicola Pepe has looked more confident tonight than I've seen him of late, particularly in the context of him missing the gilt-edge chance in the first half. Are we seeing another yellow card here? Is this for time wasting?
Dino yellowing Dean Henderson, Sheffield United goalkeeper.
And he takes the goal kick deep into the Arsenal half. Billy Sharp brings it down on his chest, but then he's dispossessed by Ceballos. And that's a lovely ball by Danny Ceballos out to Aubameyang, who brings the ball under his spell immediately, then starts running at Baldock. Room for a shot perhaps. He rolls it to the right-hand side, and Pepe again. The chip goes in towards the penalty area. It's a good idea. The execution wasn't there. Henderson gathers it, and I think with great relief just drops to the ground. This will waste some precious seconds. We have 15 minutes left at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United still lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, you do feel that it's coming though for Arsenal, putting Sheffield United under all sorts of pressure. But we know Chris Wilder seems they won't lie down. They'll defend until the end, and they've defended very well.
Said in his programme notes tonight, it's fixtures like this that we've all strived for. These are the nights that they dreamt of when they were spending 6 years in League One. I was shocked to have to remind myself of that. I didn't think it was 6 full seasons that they spent, but then they got promoted, won the title with 100 points. Here's Baldock down the right-hand side. Can they give themselves a cushion here, Sheffield United? Baldock with the cross. There's Billy Sharp, back to goal in the penalty area. Arriving here is Norwood. It wasn't a bad effort, it was always rising, and it's into the Kop as he just tried to find the top corner from the right-hand side of the penalty area.
Baldock down the right, feeds the ball into Sharp, who's near the penalty spot. He can't turn and get a shot off, so he just feeds the ball back, perfectly weighted into Norwood's path. He strikes the ball well wide of the right-hand post.
Well, they'd only scored 1 goal in the first half so far this season before tonight. They put that right, but 3 of their 7 Premier League goals before tonight have come in the final 15 minutes. Only Man City and Wolves have scored more, but they're protecting a lead here. Here's some space for Saka in between the lines, shoved by McGoldrick, but no foul, says Mike Dean. Ceballos just outside the penalty area on the right-hand side. What are his options here? Goes to Pepe. Outside of him on the right touchline is Chambers, plays it square to Saka. He clips it out left-footed to Chambers. Gets the ball back from Ceballos into the penalty area he goes. Sheffield United have to be careful here with their challenges, but they've won the ball back, and Ender Stevens will clear out for a throw-in.
Yes, last ditch, isn't it? Defending United. It's another substitute for Arsenal.
Number 19, Nicolas Pepe.
Well, I mentioned him in the first half. It's Gabriel Martinelli, the young Brazilian, 18 years of age, and he will replace Nicola Pepe for the final 13 or so minutes plus stoppage time. He's only made 2 starts for Arsenal, and he scored twice in each of them, Standard Liège and Nottingham Forest. McGoldrick will make way for Sheffield United, who will bring Luke Freeman onto the pitch. So Martinelli's got a bit of magic in those boots, Chris. Highly rated, only 18 years of age. He made his Premier League debut at Newcastle on the opening day. 18 years and 54 days. Having to be patient, but here's a great opportunity to make himself a hero to those travelling Gunners fans behind the goal. Guendouzi, just inside the Sheffield United half, turns square under pressure from Lundstrom, rolls it across the halfway line to Socrates. Now here's Callum Chambers. Guendouzi, left corner of the penalty area, on his right foot, running across field. Lundstrom passes him on. Now it's on the right hand side for Arsenal, and the cross comes in. It's over the head of Martinelli, chested back by Baldock, very confidently done. 3 yellow shirts around him, and he ushers the ball back safely to Dean Henderson.
He was confident. Just enough pace on the chest. Back to Henderson, as cool as you like.
Henderson kicks out of his hands long into the Arsenal half. Billy Sharp brought the ball down beautifully, but then is dispossessed, and Luis rolls it back to his goalkeeper, Bernd Leno. Here's Socrates.
A little bit isolated there, Billy Sharp. He just can't get up the pitch and make passes. You have to credit Arsenal for the response, but Arsenal still behind. They need that goal.
Here's Dani Ceballos in the 80th minute at Bramall Lane. Guendouzi, wide it goes once again to Chambers. The cross takes a deflection. Coming in is Kolasinac. He got his head to it. Corner of the 6-yard box, but the header sailed over the crossbar.
It's a deep cross on the right-hand touchline from Chambers. He should do better, Kolasinac. I actually think that he thinks he's going to get hurt from Baldock, and half bottles out of that. And all he ends up doing is just looping a header off the top of his head well over the bar. Not committed enough there.
Henderson's goal kick, and it's a foul by Billy Sharp, who dragged Kolasinac, the square-jawed Sead Kolasinac, down to the ground, and Mike Dean wants a free kick taken from the correct spot, and Ceballos doesn't oblige, and eventually, well, it's their own time they're wasting here, Arsenal. 10 minutes to go. David Luiz does take it square to Socrates Papastathopoulos. I've got to say it once during the game. Here's Guendouzi. Up to the right flank to Lacazette. Right touchline, back to goal. Wins his side a throw halfway inside the Sheffield United half.
It's a different type of player, isn't he, to Aubameyang, Lacazette. I think he's better with his back to goal and his link-up play. Aubameyang, of course, has far more pace, and Aubameyang now out on that right-hand side. Versatile player.
And also have now got Ceballos, Lacazette, Martinelli, Aubameyang and Saka on the field. Here's Guendouzi. The home fans sensing their side need a lift, need their support. Aubameyang with the cross to the near post. Egan gets it clear, and now it falls to Fleck. Lovely control. The flick over the head of Guendouzi, and Fleck is up to the halfway line, being chased by Ceballos. That's lovely play by Fleck. Lundstrom's making a terrific run towards the penalty area. Billy Sharp just held on to it a tad too long, and the chance is lost.
Fantastic Fleck, brilliant skill, driving forward, knocking it over the Arsenal midfielders' heads. Once again giving possession away too cheaply. Sheffield United, Arsenal pushing them back.
Martinelli down the left-hand side, the 18-year-old cuts back and finds Guendouzi. Guendouzi, drop of the shoulder to get past Lundstrom. Into the penalty area he goes. Matteo Guendouzi towards the byline. There's the cross towards the near post. It's taken a flick off a Sheffield United defender, goes into the side netting, and it's a corner kick on the Arsenal left. 82 minutes on the clock. They trail by a goal to nil.
Basham there. So many bodies in that box. Scrambled behind. Can Arsenal work something?
Taken short to Saka. The cross comes in. It's a good one, but it's headed clear once again by Sheffield United. It falls to Guendouzi. Sheffield United are defending along the line of their 18-yard box. Ceballos, he has Kolasinac in space. It's Billy Sharp who sprints out to meet him. Kolasinac between the lines finds Socrates, who was coming back from an offside position. The flag is raised on the far side, and Sheffield United can breathe a sigh of relief again with 7.5 minutes remaining.
Yeah, it's perfect that for Sheffield United. Arsenal sloppy. Mike Dean pointing out there was more than one offside. Do you think he went to acting school, Mike Dean? Drama school.
Taken long by Henderson, almost sent Billy Sharp all the way through. Nice turn by Kolasinac. Not sure whether it's mistake or design.
Pulled up on Martinelli. Pulled up, easing him out. Emery unhappy.
It's not McBurney's going to come on for Chris Wilder's side with number 9 on his back. Here's Guendouzi. Unai Emery right out of his technical area, gesticulating wildly. He's like he's directing aircraft. It's part of the ground crew at Heathrow. Now he's got his hands on his hips. Arsenal in possession just inside the Sheffield United half. Sheffield United have dropped a little deep here. Guendouzi running across field towards the left-hand side finds Luis, both with identical hairstyles. Luis breaks for him. Will he have a shot? Drives it into the edge of the penalty area. Nice little flick by Aubameyang, but excellent defending. The tackle on Lacazette, and then they have a free kick. Sheffield United. It was Billy Sharp who was fouled, and McBurney will come in. And this is perhaps a surprise for Norwood.
Yeah, there'll be a tweak, no doubt, of the system. I think we see Freeman drop back, but Oliver McBurney, a surprise to many that he didn't start tonight. A focal point centre forward. And we try and relieve the pressure for Sheffield United in these final few minutes. Win free kicks, get his team up the pitch.
So McBurney's on. He was arrested and charged with drink driving in the early hours of Saturday morning outside of Leeds. He has been struggling with a knee injury as well, so withdrew from the Scotland squad during the last international break. He's got the long, gingerish beard, and he is the target of that free kick. It sails over his head and goes out of play. He just sort of stations himself out on the left-hand side at the moment with Billy Sharp ahead of him. Is the idea that they get possession and retain possession slightly higher up the field, Chris?
I think so. Hit McBurney, win free kicks, try and hold it in.
Fleck in possession for Sheffield United, left-hand side. And it's Freeman who flicks it out towards McBurney. It's a lunging tackle by Socrates, who has to be careful. I think Mike Dean has probably gone to the pocket here in the distance. Yes, he has. So Socrates gets a yellow card. He, Kolasinac and Saka in the book for Arsenal.
Daft challenge, seeing McBurney rise to his feet. He looks to Scott McBurney like something you'd have seen at Bannockburn, with his big, long, ginger beard, ferocious looking character.
You'll never take his freedom. There's a free kick on the left-hand side. McBurney's at the near post, socks at half-mast, yellow boots on. In front of the Kop, the ball is curled in. Egan was there. It's a good header by David Luiz. And has that gone out for a corner? Yes, it has. He was just waiting to clear that slightly oddly there, Ceballos.
But you can't let it bounce behind the line, Danny, before you clear it.
Well, it wastes some precious time as we approach the 87-minute mark, and the roof will lift off the Kop behind the goal if the Blades can get a second goal. Chance of United emanating from that bank of Blades fans. They're going to take their time over the corner. Why wouldn't they? Egan is at the near post. It's floated over left-footed. McBurney with the header, but it was always rising.
He got up well, jumped early, McBurney. Centre of the goal, 6 yards out, just couldn't direct it down on target.
Arsenal will play their way out from the back into the 88th minute. Is it another tale of woe on the road for Unai Emery's side, who have won 4 of their last 17? They've lost 8 of their last 16 in the Premier League away from the Emirates. They had the opportunity tonight to go up to 3rd place with a win. That's looking increasingly unlikely. A bit of a wild challenge by McBurney, and he'll be lucky maybe to escape a yellow card here. It's Saka who's down, and he hobbles away limping on his right foot I should say. No yellow card given. Now Luis takes a free kick quickly, and it's acrobatically kept in play by Martinelli. Ceballos rolls it into the feet of Saka. He's closed down immediately, so finds Kolasinac. Now he's got men to aim for in the penalty area, and it breaks out here to Callum Chambers. The low cross comes in. It was a shot. It took a deflection in the end and has spun away. He knew or thought that was going in. It's a corner kick.
It's a good take from Chambers, right hand side of the box. Cross went all the way through, takes the deflection. Arsenal players at the back post waiting.
89th minute, Saka with the cross, headed clear by O'Connell. Has he headed it clear? No, he hasn't, and it's Chambers who's challenging for the ball again. Now it is clear, and it's a foot race into the Arsenal half. It's won by Guendouzi against Billy Sharp, and Billy Sharp just clicks his ankles, and it's a free kick, and Billy Sharp will sprint back into position and try and take the ball off Ceballos, who turns upfield. Arsenal running out of time here at Bramall Lane, here on 5 Live Sport. They trail by a goal to nil. Lys Mousset in the first half. Sheffield United fans can sense something very special. History repeating itself on the last time these two sides met here in 2006, a 1-0 win for the Blades under Neil Warnock that night.
Well, the Arsenal bench ready to explode with that decision from Mike Dean. They thought it should have been their throw-in.
Oh, that was a shove by Kolasinac into the back of McBurney, but Mike Dean has blown for an infringement the other way.
Yeah, but they're showing urgency now. The game's nearly gone for them. Why not show this urgency in the first half?
David Luiz has Kolasinac in space on the left-hand side. Controls the ball with his left foot. There are 4 yellow shirts to aim for in the penalty area. Here's Guendouzi. That's a poor ball. Basham able to get the challenge in. 20 seconds remaining of the 90 minutes here.
To a man, Sheffield United have defended superbly. They're streetwise at the back. Clever, read the game well. When crosses have gone in, they've been first to it. What a well-drilled outfit the Sheffield United team are. 5 minutes has gone up to Arsenal. Still have a bit of hope.
Huge groan goes around Bramall Lane as the 5 minutes was shown on the board. Here's Lacazette, left-hand side of the penalty area, and he wins his side of corner. The challenge by Egan. 5 minutes provides hope for the Gunners. Late on here in Yorkshire. If you're just joining us, Lys Mousset in the first half, the only goal of this game so far. We're into stoppage time. Ceballos takes the corner. In it goes. The heads go up. It's flicked off a Sheffield United head, I think, and it's fallen to Ender Stevens, who concedes the throw on that far side.
Yeah, it's Egan. Again, he's been like a magnet, hasn't he, when balls have gone in to the box.
It's a win if they hold on that would take Sheffield United to 9th place. Thumped clear into the Arsenal half again. They would be level on 12 points with West Ham, with Bournemouth, with Burnley, with Tottenham after 9 games. And I think that would qualify as a very good start for Chris Wilder's side. But it's not done yet. Here's Chambers. Back it goes to Socrates. David Luiz.
Yeah, we said we'd learn a lot about Arsenal this evening. And they have, once again, and not in a good way. They haven't applied themselves, especially in the first half.
Both managers gesticulating wildly to their respective teams. It's a chip from Guendouzi out to Chambers on the right-hand side. The cutback is cleared by Fleck. Now Billy Sharp into the Arsenal half he goes, and he'll probably go towards the corner flag. Socrates is across to meet him. Billy Sharp might have had the opportunity to be more direct towards goal, decided against it. He's found McBurney on the left corner of the penalty area. Sharp gets it back, and it's precious seconds being wasted here in the 2nd minute of stoppage time at the end of this game at Bramall Lane. Sharp goes to ground, no foul. Arsenal bring the ball clear up towards the halfway line through Dani Ceballos. He peers upfield but rolls it square to Guendouzi, and now it's Callum Chambers on the right hand side. He has options down the right. Martinelli, he's allowed to turn. The cross though is blocked by O'Connell. It falls, does it, to McBurney. Martinelli with a rather robust challenge, and that's enough for Mike Dean to award the free kick, to the delight of the Blades fans here at Bramall Lane.
Frustration for Arsenal. Chris Wilder having words with the fourth official, saying calm things down to his team, put it in the corner, let's see this through. Listen to this noise.
Incredible noise. Deafening at Bramall Lane. We've had 3 minutes of the minimum of 5 added on at the end of the game here. Henderson takes the free kick long down the left-hand side, and it drifts harmlessly out for an Arsenal throw, level with the edge of their own penalty area on their right-hand side. Unai Emery, a grimace on his face. It's another away day nightmare at the moment for him.
And look at the Arsenal players arguing with each other, waving their arms around everybody else's fault. This has been the problem for Arsenal this evening. Players need to take individual and collective responsibility, and that hasn't happened.
Sheffield United's game management at the moment is excellent. Freeman over in that corner, and as I say that was a poor touch.
What is he doing?
Socrates, I'm not sure what he's trying to do. He tried to lob it over the head of Freeman perhaps to retain possession, to build a counter-attack. Lacazette's done well though, and he's found Guendouzi, and in turn he finds Kolasinac. Infield it goes to Saka, who was marked by Fleck, but he's twisting and turning away. David Luiz, we're into the final minute of time added on. Martinelli. On the left-hand side is Kolasinac. Martinelli again, in towards the penalty area he goes. The challenge comes in from Baldock. It's a good one, and then it's Basham who smashes it against Kolasinac. It's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, and a big fist pump from Basham. That back three, so much respect for them. Come up through the lower leagues the hard way, been well drilled, well oiled under Chris Wilder. He's had faith in them. Best defence in the Premier League this season, along with Liverpool.
Well, we'll try and describe the final stages here. I'm not entirely sure you can hear us. We have a matter of seconds to go here. There it is! Delirium of Bramall Lane. Chris Wilder punches the air. An exhausted group of players celebrate together. Sheffield United have ended a run of 3 straight home defeats. Lys Mousset with the only goal of the game in the first half. What an atmosphere we've experienced tonight at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United, newly promoted, their first season in the Premier League for 12 years, and after 9 games, they are 12th. It's another road nightmare for the Gunners and Arsenal.
Well, Sheffield United, quite frankly, with a more committed team, the sharper team, it was Arsenal who were blunt, toothless in the first half. They lacked effort, they lacked commitment. They came out with a bit of desire in the second half, still didn't create enough. Sheffield United saw the game through pretty comfortably. Henderson had hardly anything to do. We said we'd learn a lot about Arsenal tonight, and it's all bad from Arsenal's point of view, but credit Sheffield United and Chris Wilder.
Lys Mousset is getting hugged in his big puffer jacket by everybody. When he starts games, he tends to score goals. He just doesn't get many starts in the Premier League. Chris Wilder shaking hands with his team, and it's a dejected looking Callum Chambers and Socrates and Guendouzi who march off the field staring at their toes.
They deserve what they got.
Steve, final score at Bramall Lane, which is just a special place to be tonight. Sheffield United 1, Arsenal 0.